Hello and welcome back to Adventurous Way. I'm Diana.
And I'm Matt, and we're back here at the property again today with quite a few little things to get on with.
Yeah, I'm back from my course at Yestermara, and Matt has done a few things while I was away.
Yes, the driveway finished the construction about 2.5 weeks ago. It's kind of mid-September now, so we're into fall. The colours are starting to change on the leaves and the trees and things, and it's looking really beautiful. But we do have quite a few things that we're trying to sort of tackle, I guess, small jobs that we need to do. So already I created a quick little sawbuck that I can put some logs on and start chopping those up into firewood. We're not going to be burning firewood in the house, but we do want some that we can use for campfires and things like that. So it's a good way to use up some of the logs that are too small or too crooked for milling. So that's been one good job that I've started on there. The other big job you can kind of see behind us here. So we started this, was it last week, I guess?
Yeah.
Our builder, Colby, had made this stone wall, which we really like, down here at the front of the property. And so we just filled in the dirt behind it and started adding some mulch on top.
Yeah. So today, one of the jobs for today is to kind of finish it off. And the mulch that we used was from the last time we used the chipper. We put it in the boulder bags and we kind of put them away so they're not in the way while doing the construction of the driveway. And at first we thought, oh, it's going to be a compost eventually. But it actually turns out that this is a great use case. So we're putting mulch and then we'll seed it with some wildflower native seeds.
Yeah, just find some like grasses and wildflowers and things. The goal here really is not just to make the entrance look a little bit nicer. We don't want to be those neighbours who have that horrible looking entrance that's just a mess. So we're trying to tidy it up for that reason, but also to help prevent erosion. We don't want the rainwater to run down here and wash all that soil away and start to undermine the road surface down here. Yeah. So by backfilling it with the dirt and putting the mulch on top, that helps, but then having some actual plants and things growing on top should really help to stabilize that area as well.
Yeah, that is on one side of the entrance. On the other side of the entrance, there's still just a big pile of rocks. It is a mess. And it is going to be a mess for a while because first we want to get the electrical in from electrical pole, and then when we know, how is that installed and what kind of space they need, then we'll deal with the other side.
Yep. So just trying to tackle these things one at a time. The other big job that we're going to be doing today is, hopefully it shouldn't take that long, but is a really monumental job, which is to install our mailbox. So back when we got the road access permit to put in the driveway, we needed that in order to get the street number assigned for the property. There was no address for this property pre-existing. We had confirmation last week that our address has been created and we have a street number and everything now. And so we met the mailman out here a couple of times actually just to confirm the placement of a mailbox. It's nothing super fancy. It's just using kind of a post and a mailbox I picked up from Home Depot at the weekend. But we'll get those in. It's a little tricky position. It's kind of right next to the culvert and kind of the drainage ditch at the side of the road. So it is a little tricky to put in there. We've also got bedrock really shallow. Yeah. So we're going to be putting down a little bit of gravel for drainage, putting the post on top and then surrounding it with concrete. And we're hoping that'll be enough to stabilize it. Fingers crossed. It's kind of the best idea we've got at the moment. So we'll just have to see how that goes. Nothing super fancy though. But it will be exciting to have the mailbox.
Yeah, and kind of maybe a quick update on kind of behind the scenes stuff. So we got the first permit, the road access permit, and now we have the driveway in. So that's great. We have the survey done of the area of the house and like the septic area. So now the septic engineer is going to be designing the septic system and then putting in the wastewater permit. It's going to take a while because he's been super busy and he's still very busy. And then after that will be the zoning permit.
Yeah, so if you read between the lines of what Diana's saying there, we're not going to be building this year.
Yes.
By the time we've got the zoning permit and wastewater permit in hand, it'll just be too late in the season to start building. Yeah. But that's okay. It was kind of, we'd hoped we were going to be able to get to building this year. That would have been really nice. But it's no big deal. We'll just pick up
and that's in the spring. Just, the life of COVID and everyone's busy, not enough people to do the work and so on. So totally fine. In terms of like shipping stuff, we ordered our sawmill. And it's still on track.
Yeah,
right?
The sawmill should be here end of October, is what they're saying. I called them a week or two ago, and that was still the case. We have heard from other people that they've had theirs. They're sort of doing a shipment at the end of each month, I think. And I think it was like the August shipment was weeks and weeks faster than scheduled.
Yeah.
So there's a chance it could arrive earlier. But at the moment, we're on track apparently for end of October.
And we ordered it months ago.
Yeah, we ordered it back in May, June.
Yeah, May, I think. Yeah, June probably.
June.
And then we also ordered the Grapple for the tractor, but that is delayed.
That should have actually arrived today. Today was actually the original estimated date. I called them last week. They had to shut their entire factory down for multiple weeks due to supply chain issues. So that's been delayed. We probably won't see that until October. He didn't even sound very confident about that, so maybe November, which is a real shame because that Grapple would be great for moving some of these stones around.
Yeah.
It would be great for moving the brush around, and it would be great for moving the logs around. But we don't have it. We haven't got it. So we'll just have to make do with the bucket and the pallet forks and things. The other thing that we've got arriving next week, you may remember a little while ago in one of the videos, we said we were thinking about getting a shipping container, but we decided against it because the price to buy a used shipping container is just astronomical. I think it was
three times more the price.
Yeah, it's about $5,000 for a used, not great condition used 20-foot shipping container.
Yeah.
So we just decided that wasn't worth it. But we have decided to rent a shipping container. So this is something that we couldn't do originally because without the driveway in, we had no way to easily get a nice new shipping container or good quality shipping container up there. But now that we've got the driveway in, it's no problem for a semi or whatever to reverse up here and drop off a shipping container. And the rental prices haven't really gone up that much.
Yeah.
So I think it's something like $150 a month to rent a 40-foot shipping container.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be great. We've got a site for that we asked Colby and the guys when they were doing the driveway just to clear a flat section for us up there. So we've got a good location for that to go, and that will give us some dry, relatively secure storage on site so that we don't have to keep carrying everything back and forth in the truck bed, which is killing me. It's just, I can't wait to have my truck back, to be honest.
Yeah. So even though we're probably not going to get to building anything this year, we still have plenty of stuff to do. So now that the trees, were taken down because we were putting in a driveway, now there's a lot of slash that we can deal with, bucking logs, piling them up for milling. So that we can do until the sawmill arrives. And then when the sawmill arrives, then we can start milling our wood.
And I think you were doing some estimates, weren't you, the other day?
Oh, yeah.
Looking at the pile of logs that's up there already. So this doesn't include the ones along the driveway that we haven't taken up yet, nor does it include the ones that we'll have to, like the trees that we'll fell to clear the house site and things.
Yeah.
So just the logs that are there already. You estimated how much was it?
It's something about 4,000 board feet.
Yeah, 4,000 board feet. So I was playing with some numbers this morning. If you're not familiar with what a board foot is, it's a measure of lumber quantity. And it's a volume equal to a piece of wood 12 inches by 12 inches by 1 inch thick. And so if you sort of play around with the numbers and things and you convert that into like 2x6s, I think I worked out that if we milled everything into 2x6s, full dimension stuff, which we're not going to do, we'll keep a load of slabs and things. But if we did mill it all into 8-foot long 2x6s, it would give us over 600 2x6s.
Mm-hmm.
It's an astronomical amount of wood.
Yeah, and I think I was trying to do calculations. If we use that for let's say siding around a house, that's like, I don't know, like three times more than the siding we would actually need, like the square footage. So yeah, that's a lot of wood. And for your Europeans listening, in Europe, I think they measure it in cubic meters, and it's about 10 cubic meters of like the finished lumber.
It's an insane amount of wood. So when we get the sawmill, we're going to try and get that milled before the winter. That's going to be our kind of like final project. So we still need to work out where we're going to put it all.
Yes.
We're obviously brand new to milling, so there'll be a steep learning curve there. But I hope we've got enough lumber that we can make plenty of mistakes and not worry about it. And we'll just move on and get another piece of wood. So yeah, lots to do, lots of little small things, but lots of things to keep us busy.
We got this rake with the fiberglass handle, and the great thing, it's super lightweight. The bad thing is we already broke the handle in half, but it's still usable. But maybe next time it's going to be a different kind of rake. So goal for today is to remove these rocks and kind of smooth it out and put the wood chips on. Well, we made great progress today. I'm very happy. So today we finished kind of grading and smoothing this area behind the stone wall, and we put our third and last wood chip bag on it, and it still has more wood chips to go on it. So now next time when we do chipping, we will lay those wood chips down here.
And actually there's a couple of slash piles just here.
Yes.
So we'll get the chipper and we'll just chip it straight into this area.
Yeah.
So we don't need to bag all that stuff up. We can just spread it straight away.
Yeah.
And then some of the other piles we'll probably try and bag up best we can and move them around. But yeah, I think it's looking great. We haven't yet decided what we're going to put in here in terms of plants and things, but we're thinking probably some wildflowers and some grasses.
Something that we do not need to mow.
Yes. And we're hoping we can get away with just sort of sprinkling them on the mulch, although maybe we're being optimistic.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of phone calls to a few local garden nurseries and things to get some advice and see what works around here.
Yeah.
So then, while Dinah's been doing that, and really you have done nearly all of the stuff with sorting the stones and some manual labour today, I've had the relatively easy job of putting up the mailbox. So we've put it over by the road. It was the location that we agreed with the mailman. I'm not in love with the location. It is closer to the road than I like in an area where there's snowplows. So I am a little bit concerned about that. That said, we didn't have a lot of choice. That was really just about the only location that we could put it. We put it in with 2 bags of the Quikrete sort of no mix concrete stuff. So you just pour the powder in and then add water. And so we did that.
With gravel underneath.
Gravel underneath so that any water that does get in there can drain. And honestly, we sort of hemmed it in with a load of rocks and things. It's solid. Like, it's only been setting for, what, 6 hours or something? And I don't want to wobble it too hard, but you can tell it's pretty well in there.
And we wanted to put the rock so that it's kind of, I don't know, almost like a retaining wall, so that it doesn't push into the stream where the culvert goes.
Yeah. Our next little job will be later on this week. We'll be renting the chipper again, like we said, and starting to get through these slash piles. In particular, the two here, because we're going to bring our RV to the property fairly soon, just for a few days, just to park it here and say we
can do it.
we slept on our own land. So we're going to park the RV actually just up there where the tractor is, pretty much. So we do want to get those slash piles out of the way first, and there is also a slash pile way at the top near the house site that is going to be trapped behind the shipping container. So we will rent the chipper, start with those 3 piles, see how much further we can get. But today it is 5:30. We've still got over an hour to get back to the RV. Yeah. So I think we're done for today.
Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, and if you have friends who you think might enjoy following along our journey of building up our home base in Vermont, please share the video with them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.